All right, let's talk about a huge, invisible problem that's quietly holding back the future of artificial intelligence. It's like a massive traffic jam on the information superhighway. But more importantly, we're going to look at the incredible new tech being built to completely clear it up.
So, let me just start with a question for you. What do you actually do when an AI model becomes so gigantic, so powerful, that all of its processors and its hardware, its brain really, can't even physically fit inside a single building? How do you even begin to run that as one coherent system?
Well, the answer is you have to link up multiple data centers, sometimes stretching them clear across a city. And that right there is what creates this massive digital traffic jam. You see, our current digital roads, they just weren't designed for this kind of intense, coordinated workload. So before we jump into the really exciting solution, we first have to get a handle on just how big this problem really is. Let's call it AI's Great Traffic Jam.
Okay, check this out because this contrast is everything. On the left, you've got your traditional networks. Just think of them as regular city streets, right? They're built for all sorts of traffic, cars, buses, bikes, all going their own way. And what happens? They get congested. But AI, over on the right, it needs something totally different. Imagine a giant fleet of semi-trucks, all needing to move at the same time, perfectly in sync, carrying these massive loads. That kind of demand just pushes our old internet roads to their absolute breaking point.
And this traffic jam, it creates three huge headaches. First, you get really low transmission efficiency. The data just can't move fast enough between the different locations. Second, poor resource utilization. You have these super expensive processors just sitting there, literally waiting for data to arrive. And finally, the whole system becomes unstable. The moment you try to scale things up, the whole network is at risk of crashing. But then, at a huge tech event in Barcelona, a solution was finally put on the table. And this, right here, is where the hero of our story really comes into play. So, the setting was MWC Barcelona 2026. This is one of the biggest telecom shows on the planet. The players involved were two absolute giants, China Mobile and ZTE Corporation, and they got together to announce this new solution. Now, it has a pretty technical name, Scale Across or GSE-DCI, but don't worry about the name. What really matters is what this thing can do.
And believe me, this wasn't some minor product update. The industry immediately set up and took notice, calling it, and I quote, a significant step in building next-generation intelligent computing networks. That was a huge signal that a new era for this kind of infrastructure wasn't just on the drawing board anymore, it was actually here.
Okay, now for the really fun part. Let's pop the hood and take a look at how this new digital superhighway actually works. And don't worry, I'll keep it simple.
First thing you need to get your head around is a concept called Data Center Interconnect, or DCI. And honestly, the best way to think about it is exactly what you see here. Imagine a private, multi-lane superhighway built for one single purpose, to create a high-speed link between two massive cities, which, in our case, are the data centers.
Now, this new DCI solution is built on three key pieces of tech all working together beautifully. You've got the raw horsepower of 800G optical hardware. Then you have a super smart traffic system called SuperPipe packet spraying, and finally, an instant alert system called Fast CNP. Let's break them down real quick.
The 800G part? That is all about raw scale and speed. I mean, if your normal internet connection is a little country road, this thing is a brand new, perfectly paved 20-lane German Autobahn. It is a quantum leap in bandwidth. That's the sheer amount of data you can move all at once.
But look, a giant highway is totally useless if the traffic isn't managed well, right? That is where SuperPipe and FastCNP come in. SuperPipe is like this genius traffic control system that makes sure data is flowing down every single available lane at the same time to get maximum speed. And FastCNP? Think of that like a fleet of drones flying over the highway, instantly spotting any potential slowdowns and rerouting cars before a traffic jam can even start to form. It's proactive, not reactive.
So you've got the raw power, you've got the smart traffic control. What does this all add up to? Well, let's zoom out and look at what this means for the future. Something called the AI native network.
And this slide just brings the whole story together so perfectly. Remember those three big challenges we talked about? Low efficiency, poor utilization, instability? Well, here they are, each one with its perfect technological fix. The 800G hardware crushes the efficiency problem. The SuperPipe packet spraying solves that resource problem. And Fast CNP takes care of the stability. It's just an incredibly elegant, complete solution. And when you put all of these pieces together, you don't just get a faster network. No,
You get a fundamentally new kind of network. It's something that people in the industry are starting to call an AI-native network. So what's the real difference here? Look at this. Old networks were built to do one job: move data from point A to point B. That's it. But these new AI-native networks, they're designed for something way more complex: actively coordinating distributed computing. The network is no longer just a passive pipe for data. It becomes an active, thinking part of the computer itself.
So why does all this matter to you? Because this new backbone isn't just a simple upgrade. It's the foundation for the entire next wave of global innovation. This is what unlocks truly autonomous systems, much smarter financial modeling, the next generation of AI training, and probably even industries that we can't even imagine yet.
So if there's one really crucial takeaway from all of this, it's that the role of telecom networks is changing in a massive way. They're not just about giving you an internet connection anymore. They are evolving into a core, absolutely essential layer of the entire global AI economy.
And that leaves us with one last, pretty powerful question to think about. As these networks literally become part of AI's brain, who's going to be the one to build, to own, and ultimately to shape this new future? That's something we'll all be watching. Thanks for tuning in.